Good night. How you guys are doing? Happy New Year's to each and every one of you. What's on the menu for tonight? I know lasagna, pepper pot, and some lobster fried rice. That sounds good enough for me. Anita Jar Group, good night, good night. Thank you guys for being in our company on Shanaz Musical Sensation. Thank you very much. War Boss Andy, good evening to each and every one of you locked on to Shanaz Musical Sensation. Vimala Khan, good night to you. How you doing? That is Vimla Karan, my beautiful mom, Bibi Mohammed. Happy birthday to your handsome grandson. Indeed, he is 18 today. Handsome. Hey, Sherry Singh, good night to you. Mr. Rishi Rambali, good night, good night. Yes, it's my sister, right? She looks like my sister. Avida Danraj, how are you doing? Good night to you guys. Thank you for joining us. So let's get back with the beautiful Momita Ahmad, who is running for City Council District 24. She's an organizer and she would like to see a lot of changes into our community. So what is your first change? You just mentioned your first change is to get us more funds as civilians, as small businesses and families, a little more funds to the community.
Yeah, our previous council member, there was in terms of there was inequities in terms of where funding was going, especially the discretionary funds. The other thing I want to do is bring participatory budgeting into the district so that you, who is living here as a constituent, have the power to choose how the money gets spent instead of other people making that decision. And that's something that we haven't done in the city council. Also, I want to provide right to counsel to all tenants who are struggling with eviction right now and in housing court that's language accessible, as well as immigrant families. And I want to make sure that homeowners in particular have a fund to be able to access, so that the homeowners that are struggling to pay mortgage or have tenants who aren't able to pay rent, right, that those homeowners have access to some sort of funding to make sure that their tenants, they don't have to evict their tenants and they'll be able to pay their mortgage. I also want to make sure that we have a city council that prioritizes working people and businesses, especially mom and pop shops, right? Because I think that it's important in terms of the culture of our community, because it's the Guyanese American businesses, the Bangladeshi restaurants, right? Like, they're serving the community. So if they're not able to pay rent, then some 7-Eleven or like
closing
Walmart,
the doors,
right, or one of those big, huge corporations are going to come in and they're going to buy out those businesses and they're going to raise property taxes, and then our homeowners who are in the neighborhood, have been here for years, they're then unable to pay their mortgage. And so we need to stop that, and we need to make sure we get rid of tax liens and third-party transfers and allow our small businesses in particular to pay their rent. And to do that, we need a city council who is going to prioritize working people, shift budget away from institutions that are harassing civilians, that are spending money on settling lawsuits, and into our education system, our housing institutions, and helping, working people.
Guys, we'll be right back with the beautiful Mumita Ahmad, who's running for City Council District 24, as we take some music by DJ Bolt. Select the Bolt on the ones and the twos. Let's rock and roll. Let's play some tunes. Happy all years to each and every one of you.
तुम्हें अपना बनाने की कसम खाई है खाई है तुम्हें अपना बनाने की कसम खाई है तेरी आँखों में चाहत ही नजर आई है
Good evening to you, and I hope you can hear my big mouth. Hey, Salman Rahman, how you doing? Happy New Year's to each and every one of you. Bibi Jalno, how you're doing? Good evening. Good evening. Thank you guys for being in our company on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday. You know, sometimes I get lost track with what day it is. Hey, Vimala, thank you very much. War Boss Andy, how you doing? Mary Ann Lou, good night to you. And I like the mic closer, right? Good night to each and every one of you. Thank you for sharing the link and sharing the love. We have a lot of music for you guys, but we're chatting with the beautiful Mumita Ahmad, who is running for District 24, City Council District 24, I should say. Avida Danraj, good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us and sharing the live and sharing the love. So, Mumita, you could refresh them with what you were telling me about getting money into our community for the small businesses, the mom and pop store.
Yeah, I want to make sure that our working class families, the homeowners, small businesses that are big cultural hubs in the community, that are serving our communities, like making our neighborhoods so special, that they don't close down during the pandemic, that they don't shut down, that they're able to pay their rent, and our homeowners who are taking in immigrant communities. When I first moved in here, it was the Bangladeshi homeowner that brought me in. It was let my parents, right, like gave them a place to stay. So I think it's really, really important that we support our communities, the South Asian community, whether it's the Guyanese community, the Indian community. All of us were fighting for the same things. We are one. And so we need to be in a strong union here and make sure that one of us get elected. And so because of ranked choice voting, we're able to do that.
Right. What's your take on the police department, I should say?
I think that we really need to make sure that our communities feel safe, and that means all of our communities. And I think that the police have been spending over $230 million settling lawsuits, right? And I think that needs to stop.
You mean we could redirect the funds to something better?
I think that what we need to do is direct some of that fund to actually better policing and hiring social workers and community workers, right, that are going to actually help the community, especially with mental health issues, people who are calling in because of something to do with mental health, right? So we need to just be a little bit more compassionate towards homeless people and poor people, and I don't think that punishing them and putting them in jail is the right thing to do.
Well, I will back you up on that one because being in the courthouse, I am in the Queens County Courthouse. I've seen them arresting. I mean, I felt like the crime rate was so high in Queens recently that I was feeling so unsafe. And I'm like, what's going on in our community? They're locking up so many young folks. What are they doing for their mental health instead of throwing them behind the bars? So what about social work? What about counseling instead of, evicting all the folks who cannot pay and put them in jail, the young folks who are upcoming for crime rate that's causing by society right now. So yeah, that's a good plan to have in place. We need more social services out there for mental health because it is on the rise. So that's kind of a good plan that putting some funding on other places. But we do need our police department strong out there, but we don't need them harassing civilians.
Right, we could have community policing where we have people from our communities who grew up here, so they are more compassionate towards our members, right? And we could also have more social workers and people from the community be in the police department. But the problem is they're spending $1 billion on settling lawsuits, and so that $1 billion could be spent helping homeless people find shelter during the pandemic. That could help homeowners, right, during the pandemic. So I think it's just a matter of electing people who are not going to allow certain institutions take advantage of the fact that they receive so much money, right? Instead, reform it and also help people who are most impacted. I mean, look, like we have to admit that what happened to George Floyd and what's been happening with Eric Garner and all of these black and brown folks.
It could be any one of us out there, and it's wrongful arrest sometimes. And sitting in there listening to all these court cases day after day, I tell myself, wow, what are they doing for these young folks? Instead of educating them, finding them jobs, the little thing they do with carrying, you get charged for carrying a knife as a weapon now. The penal law is, and it's going to be on your history. So what is this doing for someone's character, someone's career?
Yeah, my dad was actually arrested during stop and frisk because he couldn't speak English well and he couldn't explain himself. And at that time, I remember there would be police officers in the subway, right, in the station, with in behind a desk, just like picking random people, usually kids.
Yeah, and the DA office is just busy doing all these minor things, inflicting on our youngsters. Like recently, the crime rate, as I said, if they making it looks like it's getting worse in our community. But I haven't seen a crime. But yes, the police will say they arrested this guy because he was carrying a weapon. He was carrying a penknife. They slander your name, they slander your character as a person. They make you have a record in juvie if you're a youngster.
Yeah, and speaking of crime rates, like people are in desperate situations right now. Why? Because they're unable to pay their bills. They're unable to provide
That
for
frustration,
their families.
they don't know how to direct that
Right.
frustration.
Yeah, and so I think if we actually directed the $88 billion that we get, that the budget that we have towards helping these families, you have a country like Scotland, which has 5 million people, right? Their gross domestic product is around is 10 times less than ours. So our gross metropolitan product, just the cities alone, is 1.5 trillion. And Scotland has 10 times less than that. Yet, during the pandemic, they provided every single family whose household income is less than $50,000 with direct cash assistance to help them pay their bills. And so I think that we, as one of the richest city on the planet, living in a state whose economy eclipses those of nation, in a country whose billionaires are making $3,000 per second.
And the small families are affected.
Right.
The richer are getting richer. They're talking about closing down the restaurants when Walmart and all those big stores are still open. So who are suffering? The folks who have the restaurant. All the small restaurants are suffering. So yeah, there's something really big going on that we need to understand a little bit more of. But during this time, any help is a good help, and we need a big country like United States of America need to take care of our,
Especially New York City. Look, when I was here, my friends were the community. Like I remember there was our neighbors. They were from Guyana, and their daughter was getting married, and they didn't have, I guess in Guyanese tradition, like a little girl has to like put turmeric on.
Yes,
Right.
Mehendi night that we
Mehndi
have
night.
that
And they
also.
didn't have a young, I guess, young person in the family, so I was the one who did that.
So you grew up among our Guyanese culture
Yeah,
also.
and I was like, oh, this is so similar to what we do because we have to do
Right,
that as well,
similar
Bengalis.
traditions.
And so that's the beauty of Queens. That's the beauty of where we live. And I love our neighborhood. And I don't want it to disappear. I don't want it to change like it's changing in Astoria, like how it's changing in parts of Brooklyn. I don't want us to get gentrified. I like where we are and how we are. I just want our people to have more so that they can take care of one another.
That's right, helping all of us around this world, especially during this time. Kamini, good night to you. My beautiful cousin Sherry Singh, she said, I agree with you. They need to get help, not arrested, you know. Sometimes just for speaking your mind, with the cops, you will get arrested. Hey, Mr. Ram Pratap, how are you doing? Happy New Year's to you as well. Everyone locked on to Shanaz Musical Sensation. We have selected both on the ones and the twos. Avida Danraj, good evening to you. Mr. Rishi Rambali, how are you doing? Good evening to you guys in Suriname. Fawaka. Big things are happening. That's right. Shanaz Musical Sensation will be airing entirely in homeland Guyana and Suriname. So what can you say about that? New things are coming up. We are also launching on a brand new website, accessit.com, 24/7 for all your wonderful music and TV shows. Lots of new things coming up. Select the bolt and the ones and the twos. Share the link. Let's pick it up. Every one of you. Hooray Sankar, how you doing? War Boss Andy, well, select the both. Have to play your tune because you're a wonderful guy indeed, wonderful friend, and I know he's always sharing my link with President Trump, so that's a really good thing right now. You know, let him know Shanaz Musical Sensation is live. Melissa Prasad, good night to you. How you doing? Kamini, good night, good night. Thank you guys for joining us from Guyana and around the world, in Trinidad and Tobago, in Toronto, and especially in Queens, Ozone Park. Mr. Keishav Singh, how you doing? Happy New Year's to you. You'll be getting a text from me later on tonight. David Singh, good night to you. How you doing? Let's rock and roll.
ओ चांदनी जब तक रात देता है हर कोई साथ तुम मगर अंधेरों में ना छोड़ना मेरा हाथ जब कोई बात बिगड़ जाए जब कोई मुश्किल पड़ जाए
out there. Veronica Jaglal, good evening to you. And I know we want to hear the music while we're singing it. So let's the beautiful Veronica Jaglal, how are you doing? Hooray Sankar, thank you. Happy New Year's to you as well. Mona Lisa Prasad. Where is our dancer, Mr. Rajiv Nandalal? Good night to you. Sabrina Mahdia, how are you doing? Underground song, good night to you. A duet coming up pretty soon after election. That election is February 2nd, and it's known as the special election because someone is leaving their seat, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And we have, you said 12. We started out with 12 candidates. Now we're down to, I'm only aware of 4 of them. And it makes a big impact if they're out there doing community work. All these candidates, I'm aware of Dilipnath and Soma because I've seen her door to door doing all this community work. So everyone is running. Everybody wants the hot seat, but who deserves that seat depends on their appearance in the community and what they're doing for our community,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really important, which is why I started the Queens Mutual Aid Network and helped families in our district. And because of that, I have the most endorsements combined out of all of the candidates. I have the endorsement from the Working Families Party, New York Communities for Change, from elected officials like State Senator Julia Salazar, State Assembly Member Ron Kim, Council Member Jimmy Van Bramer. I actually used to work for a council member
I'm sure they're seeing your work. They're seeing community work. And before you get involved in community, what was your background? What was you doing?
So what I was actually, I was working on a election. I was working on Zephyr Teach Out. She was running for governor back in 2014. And before that, I actually worked in retail because it was a tough time to be a young 22-year-old.
That's right. You work yourself up.
Yeah.
We all started out in, what should I say, stores, commercial stores, and where the funds are coming into retail, I should say. We all started out in retail somehow or the other. So we know what business is like and how important it is to support the small businesses out there, mom and pop stores. So
Yeah, and that's where I actually realized that we need to establish better laws for our workers to protect them. And as I was very lucky to work with presidential candidates, I also worked on Alexandria Ocasio's campaign as the social media director for Justice Democrats, the organization that helped elect her. I've also worked for Cynthia Nixon, who is a famous celebrity, and she actually endorsed my campaign because we're really good friends.
wow.
Yeah.
So you got some really good endorsement, guys. She is running for district, City Council District 24 elections, a special election. It's February 2nd. So go out there and you will see some familiar faces if if you see other candidates as well. As you said, many names will be on the ballot. Yours should be number 1
Yes.
because of all the endorsement. Is that how it works? So the
No, actually, whoever collects the most signatures and the first to collect signatures gets to be on the ballot first. And I was very fortunate where we have a really amazing team, and we collected 1,700 something signatures in just 2 days. And we were the first to submit them, so we get to be first. So it's really cool.
Congratulations to
Thank
that.
you.
So ladies and gentlemen, February 2nd is that special election, and she will keep posting stuff on my wall so you could see it. Happy all years to each and every one of you. And yes, I wish I could be in the studio dropping the ball, but I leave Jesh Ramanan in the studio. He'll be doing all the ball dropping tonight to keep you entertained right here on Facebook Live. Thank you for being in our company. Let's rock and roll with Select a Bolt on the ones and the twos. I know it's all years, and you do have some plans with your family, so I wouldn't keep you, but you're always a guest. You're always welcome. And the folks out there is actually ready for some old mix. Thank you, Bimala Khan. Thank you. Select the Bolt on the ones and the twos. Mr. Jesh Ramanan, he is a wonderful singer from Trinidad. I hope he will give us a track tonight. He's always here. He's our technical team and a cameraman. What can I say? But thank you to your camera person for doing all the hard work today. And let's rock and roll. Mr. Shabir Baksh from the Sunshine State, good night to you. Underground sound to the world. Mr. Alvin Ramsaroop, we have a few brand new tracks and we can't wait to get to them. So Momita Ahmad running for City Council District 24, Blairwood, Jamaica Estates.
Yes, Jamaica Estates, Hillside Avenue, Parsons Boulevard, Kew Gardens. And if you want to look me up, go to votemomita.com. And we have a video that has over 60,000 views. You can take a look. And I just also want to wish everybody Happy New Year. I know things have been tough, but hang on. And we have really good things to look forward to in 2021.
So guys, she'll put the website link and check it out after you watch Shanaz Musical Sensation. That is after 7 p.m. You could go on the website, check it out, know who she is, what she's doing. And yes, she'll be back here on Shanaz Musical Sensation. Happy all years, wishing you, each and every one of you, a prosperous 2021. Let's rock and roll with Select the Bold. Thank you, Mumita, for stopping by. And I hope special elections in February goes your way. And, you know, it all depends on our community, who they're seeing out there, who they're familiar with. So, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shanaz. I really, really enjoyed this. And you're amazing. I love your DJing skills.
Oh, thank you. That's a compliment. And Select the Bolts on the ones and the twos. She also loved the music. She grew up in our community. So, guys, Momita Ahmad, District 24. City Council District 24. Vimla Karan said he wants some chutney music. Select the Bolt. Let's rock and roll. Thank you guys for being a part of our Thursday night all year session. Let's go.
named Susie. I bounce up in a Sunday party. She wearing she sexy sari.
The beautiful Lina, good night, Avida Dan Raj.
Music stop. Yo, it's me, Dominic, with a brand new style. This is Ricky Jai, the Chutney Raja, alongside Double D, Major Haji Baya. True story, love story about a bitty.
Dave Gopal. That is the voice of Mr. Ricky Giant. Yes, we do have his brand new track coming up titled Family.
I met a little girl named Susie. I bounce up in a chutney party. She wearing she sexy sari. She take it off and she put on a mini. But when the music start to play, ever see all the girls she break away. She just jump up, start to wind up the girl around me, and you hear what she say. I'm scorpion, stinging, I'm feeling that. And she tell me, darling, if you love me, come right up in me.
Yes, we have a lot of scorpions in the studio.
Feeling that. What do you say?
Marianne Lou. Baba Love.
She moves, she whine me. The girl are moving like tiny whiny. Scorpion sting she moves, she whine me. The girl are moving like tiny whiny. Tell me the number you play, me darling. When we gon' meet up again, me darling. When we gon' meet up again. Hear me now. The next day the girl let's call me. She tell me that she want to see me. Asking me what really sing she. So I put on my clothes and went by she. I reached by her and I lie down. All of a sudden something just went wrong.
Bimal Karan in Trinidad. Good night, Dave Gopal.
The guy is done. Saga.
Darling, if you love me, come lie down in me. What up, scorpion, sting me. I'm feeling a good way. Darling, if you love me, come lie down in me.
Maureen Ramcharan. It's an all years party in the SMS Studios.
Tell me the number you play, me darling. When we gon' meet up again, me darling. When we gon' meet up again. Hear me now. Scorpion sing she, move she whiny. The girl a moving like tiny whiny.
Maureen Ramcharan.
मेरे गांव के सारे छोरे डाले डोरे बुलाए वो अकेले में मेरे गांव के सारे छोरे डाले डोरे बुलाए वो अकेले में
Hey Priya, sing good night.
गांव के सारे छोरे डाले डोरे बुलाए वो अकेले
Danny, sing good night to you.
सारे छोरे डाले डोरे
From Jane and Finch, and I'm familiar with that area because my beautiful aunt lived in that area. Big up to you folks in leg one.
कोई बोले ओ दिल वाले बन जा तू मेरे घर वाले कोई बोले चुम्मा दे दे
night to you. Priya sing and Danny sing. Big up to everyone in leg one. Arshad Mohammed.
Oh Bangali Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Bangali Babu. I am the very best at the Guyanese Babu. I am the very best at the Guyanese Babu. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Bangali Babu. We come from the country they call Guyana, land of the bauxite, the rice and sugar. We come from the country they call Guyana, land of the bauxite, the rice and sugar. Me say pack up me grip and let me go. Me got to come back to Guyana some more. Me say we pack up me grip and let me go. Me got to go back to Guyana some more. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. I am the very best at the Guyanese Babu. I am the very best at the Guyanese Babu. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu.
That is a guy in a babu, and yes, he wishing me a happy new year. Earlier post, guys, and I'm on his friends list, the top of the line friends list. What can I say? Hey Rohani, how you doing? Maureen Ramchan, good night to you. Roshni Mahatheo, good night, good night. That is Terry G. Linai, good night to you. Rocking with us in GT. Where are you? In Kingston. Hey, good night to each and every one of you. War Boss Andy, let's rock and roll.
In the US and Canada.
You can now watch Shanaz Musical Sensation in Guyana. Somebody say Essequibo, Burby, Sandemarara.
We got to go back.
3 counties that will be airing Shanaz Musical Sensation. We're also launching on www.accessit.com. Accessit.com. Check it out. That is AKCESSit.com. Pick up the beautiful Rosanna Buman.
Bangali Babu.
War Boss Andy.
I am the very best at the Guyanese Babu. I am the very best at the Guyanese Babu. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. When my diva ride down in Sawa to buy a juice for my little sister and my brother, he want the tequila. Oh gosh, my brother, he want the tequila.
Friends don't let friend drink and drive, guys. Remember to call an Uber.
In Sawa,
Like select the bowl.
buy a juice for my little sister and my brother, he want the tequila. Oh,
Mamzo in Shine. Maxi, good evening to you.
tequila. We tell the man to eat before he,
Beautiful Roshni Mahadeo.
but he's so drunk, the man don't even pay. He drinks so much, the eye can't even blink. When he throw up, he nasty up the sing. When by the bar, lie down in sour, to buy a juice for me little sister and my brother, he wants tequila. Oh gosh, my brother, he wants tequila. I see them together, boy, you sing up me friend.
Gito Charlie.
Me lover inside me car.
Counting down to all the brand new release on Shanaz Musical Sensation.
Get Sunita inside me car with Nadia from Cuba. Get Sunita inside me car with Nadia from Cuba. When I see them together, boy, it send up me pressure. Get Sunita inside me car with Nadia from Cuba. Get Sunita inside me car with Nadia from Cuba. Sunita always tell me she go love me forever. She makes me believe that we go grow old together. She go love me forever. We go grow old together. Get Sunita inside me car with Nadia from Cuba. When I see them together, boy, it send up me pressure. Get Sunita inside me car with Nadia from Cuba. I get Sunita
Raymond Hanif,
inside me car with Nadia from Cuba.
Hooray Sujdale, beautiful Vimala and Vanita. That's right, Mr. Raymond, Sunita did lie.
Oh, firewood just catch easy. She man don't want to see she anyway next to me. Cause oh, firewood just catch easy. And he afraid that I lie back she should have to she. Oh, firewood just catch easy. Yo, Mr. Boy, Mr. Boda, open the factory.
The beautiful Patsy Kundan, good night, my beautiful friend, and good night each and every one of you locked on the Shanaz Musical Sensation. My beautiful cousin in Toronto, Sherry, sing where you're driving to.
Anytime he see me, he get pressure. My ex-girl says she have
Wishing each and every one of you a blessed and prosperous 2021.
see me, he get pressure. She say I just cause him plenty jealousy. She say I just cause him plenty jealousy. He don't want to see she nowhere next to me. Cause he cool firewood just get easy. She man don't want to see she anyway next to me. Cause old firewood just get easy.
Make sure when you're out in that firewood to out it really good.
Too hard to see. Old firewood just get easy.
Thank you, Danny Singh.
She tell anybody don't have to worry. But anytime you see me, he get it.
Now you guys see why I cleared the dance floor.
Anybody don't have to worry.
We want some singers, we want some dancers on the dance floor. Let's go, DJ. Take it back from the TOP for Sono, Juno, Vanita. Good night, good night. Let's rock and roll.
शाम सुंदर गगरी उठावे हमारे गले मोती के माला शाम सुंदर
happy Old Year's, and I know in Guyana and Trinidad it's a big Old Year fete. That's right, really big Old Year fete. Hey Adeline, good night. You Sherry sing good night, good night. Vanita, thank you very much. Let's rock and roll. Mr. Rishi Rambali, how you doing? Maureen Ramcharan.
Shake it all around. Push up on a speaker, beat it like a Indian drum. Calling Mr. Lavella. This girl she popular. She known from all over. She come from India, but she is my sister, my one only sister. If you come in over, come and meet me by the bar. So you can walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder.
You want me walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder.
Boy, come and walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder.
You want me walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder.
Calling Mr. Lavella. This girl she popular. She known from all over. She come from India, and she is my
She came from Guyana. War Boss Andy, Patsy, good night, good night.
coming over. Come and meet me by the bar.
Come here, Indian girl. First time in carnival, whining like an animal.
Jasmine, good night, good night.
The way you make it shake, you're buzzing back to break. I'm just saying Indian girl, I saying Indian girl. I don't know what to do, I don't know what I want. All I know is when I whine on you, I whine to the tabla. You have me in a zone, I can't leave you alone. Never see no whining so. You're whining like a tornado. Go, go. Come let me walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder.
Boy, come and walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder.
I say come let me walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder.
Boy, come and walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder, walk up the ladder.
Suleiman.
This girl she popular. She known from all over. She come from India, but she is my sister, my one only sister. If you come in over, come and meet me by the bar.
Oh goodness sake, too much from my intake. I'm been whining,
Seola Suku.
she win the Indian crown.
Ever since
Trinidad and Tobago, big up, big up.
Turkey getting on, so you don't have to tell me. I know about this lady, only Mr. Lavella. This girl she popular. She known from all over. She come from India,
Alright, so Jer, I hope you're on the dance floor.
my one only sister. If you come in over, come and meet me by
Straight out of Pakistan, Apache warrior, the Guyanese done. Saga.
मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में एक चांद
Guys, we'll pull this down. This done by Apache Warrior. Brand new song, fresh off the press by Mr. Apache Warrior. And I'll tell you who the music was done by. Let's go.
Saga Malik, straight out of Pakistan, Apache warrior, the Guyanese done. Saga.
मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में एक चांद का टुकड़ा रहता है मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में एक चांद का टुकड़ा रहता है अफसोस है कि वो हमसे कुछ उखड़ा उखड़ा रहता है मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में एक चांद का टुकड़ा रहता है
Woman, you may love to the maximum. Want give you loving, me want give you some. Love you like the sugar cane and the white rum. Take it to this island, man, and the sun. To be the true, cause I love you, girl. You never change, you will change my world. Turn me away, I will feel sad. I be with you is very hard. I gaze in the sky and pray for your love. Just like the cloud, way up above. Time you one here, my ass in my beat. Looking at you, you sweet me up my feet. I feel like a tea, when waking up in the morning. You sweet like the sugar, the sweet sugar dump. Don't give me pretty girl, but you be my darling. But you feel me lover and put on the ring.
जिस रोज से देखा है उसको हम क्षमा जलाना भूल गए जिस रोज से देखा है उसको हम क्षमा जलाना भूल गए दिल था कि ऐसे बैठे कहीं आना जाना भूल गए अब आठ पहर
you're dressing sunny. I want you in my arms and call you my own. That's okay, but day where you must take you home. My heart is burning night and day. So open up your heart and show me the way, cause I you is the one. I love you baby, cause it's my temptation. Cause I you is the one. I love you baby, cause it's my temptation. I don't have a million in a me bank. I'm going to give you nothing and enough affection. Yeah, tell you the truth, man, I'll tell you no lies. The way how me love you, no money can buy. Yeah, tell you the truth, man, I'll tell you no lies. The way how me love you, no money can buy. Hey!
बरसात भी आकर चली गई, बादल भी गरज कर बरस गए। बरसात भी आकर चली गई, बादल भी गरज कर बरस गए। और उसकी एक झलक को हम हुस्न के मालिक तरस गए। कब प्यास बुझी इन आँखों की, दिन रात ये दुखड़ा रहता।
All is gold, as they said, done by Apache Warrior and Mr. Sagar Malik. That's right, beautiful tune indeed. We'll have to run that back before our program finish. Aklima sing good night to you. Hey, Diana Buliga, how you doing? Happy New Year's to you and your beautiful family. Lina, good night, good night. It's All Year's Party in the SMS Studio. Mr. Farouk Mumtaz Ali, feel free to pass by. The beautiful Veronica Jaglal. Hey, Nadia, good night to you. And the beautiful Nita, good night to each and every one of you. My brother in Toronto, Mr. Tyrone Madra Mutu, Happy New Year's to you and your beautiful family. My sister-in-law, Sarojini Matra Mutu.
All of the speakers, yeah, in the kingdom. Hey, and when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't break up to make up.
I only break up to make up by Mr. Vikar Sahadil.
We going on and no, we didn't break up to make up. And when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we going on and no, we didn't only break up to make up.
No fighting this year, guys. Heading to 2021 with love and unity. Lots of love, peace, and understanding to each and every one of you.
People saying that I'm mad and not mad. People saying that I'm mad and not. I should have married the neighbor daughter instead. Should have married the neighbor daughter instead. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. Now we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we going on and no, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we going on and no, we didn't only break up to make up.
That is the voice of Mr. Vikar Sahadil. He only break up to make up. Mr. Kenneth Gear, good night to you. Lina, how you doing? Happy New Year to each and every one of you.
She don't believe me that I have nothing to hide. She don't believe me that I have nothing to hide. I should have really have girl on the outside. You should have really have girl on the outside. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we going on and no, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you see me, I And when you think we're going on end, no, we didn't only break up to make up.
Taking it from the TOP. Thank you guys, Mr. Vikar Sahadeo to the world. He only break up to make up.
Oh, Lord, it's Vikash, yeah, in the kingdom. Hey, and when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we're going on end, no, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we're going on end, no, we didn't only break up to make up. People saying that I'm mad and I hurt my head. People saying that you're mad and you hurt my head. I should have married the neighbor daughter instead. Should have married the neighbor daughter instead. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. Now we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we're going on end, no, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we're going on end, no, we didn't only break up to make up. She don't believe me that I have nothing to hide. She don't believe me that I have nothing to hide. I should have really have girl on the outside. You should have really have girl on the outside. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we're going on end, no, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we're going on end, no, we didn't only break up to make up. Oh gosh, it's Vikash. Hey! Real thing. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. They call me so lonely.
That was done by Mr. Vikar Sahadi, a wonderful artist in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for listening to Shanaz Musical Sensation, sending me all your love. And hey, Lena, good night to you. Michelle Majid, how you doing? Vanita, thank you very much. Good night to each and every one of you. Anita Jag Group, Fawakto. Mrs. Sahadi, how you doing? Good night to Mr. Kenneth. Anita Jag Group, good night. Iqbal Mumtaz Ali and my handsome cousin in Toronto, Stephen Hardial. Happy New Year's to you and your beautiful wife, the beautiful Anissa. Not forgetting all the loving kids. Good night, good night. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Let's rock and roll.
They call me so lonely. Vikash in the kingdom.
My beautiful cousin Camila Nazir.
Here we go. Hey. I swear on my life, I thought nobody would have find me. I went in the night thinking nobody would have seen me. But
Big tune.
Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely. Cause Tisha catch me with Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely. Lonely, yeah. They call so lonely. Lonely, they call me so lonely. We take a flight and went to our next country. We didn't mind what she couldn't find me. What she don't know could never affect she. Was we secret, just me and Naomi. I swear on my life, I thought nobody would have find me. I went in the night, thinking nobody would have seen me. But Tisha catch me with Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely. But Tisha catch me with Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely. Lonely, they call me so lonely.
Mr. Vicar Sahadeo, Mr. Lonely Iqbal Mumtaz Ali, how you doing?
They call me so.
Mr. Farouk Mumtaz Ali.
I tell Tisha I went on vacation. She said that.
Benita, good night, Savagery, how you doing?
I said,
Sending all my love to each and every one of you. Need a Jack Groove.
but Tisha stopping me from outside affection. I swear on my life, I thought nobody would have find me. I went in the night, thinking nobody would have seen me. But Tisha catch me with Naomi, and I saw I end up so lonely.
That is how he end up so lonely. Faye Diane, good night to you.
And I saw I end up so lonely. Lonely. Move out the way, let me mash up the place. Move out the way, let me mash up the place. Move out the way, let me mash up the place. Mash up the place, mash up the place. Don't take it personally. I's a man who friendly. I would never break the law.
I would never break the law.
My girl insecure. Oh, yeah, my girl insecure. She watch me like a police. No, I would never do this. Move out the way, let me mash up the place. Move out the way, let me mash up the place. Move out the way, let me mash up the place. Mash up the place, mash up the place. Don't take it personally. I's a man who friendly. I would never break the law. Oh, but my girl insecure. Oh, yeah, my girl.
Jamal Hassan would like to say Happy New Year's to Christopher Jill Silva and your beautiful family in Florida. So Happy New Year's to each and every one of you locked on the Shanaz Musical Sensation. Hooray to Joe. Good night to you. Good night to each and every one of you.
Girl insecure. She gets on bad, so bad, so bad. I feel like going mad, so mad, so mad. Yeah, she gets on bad, so bad, so bad. I feel like going mad, so mad, so mad. She's searching down my car and flaps in my tire. My girl taking this too far. This girl don't even care. I losing all my hair. It's when she go by she father. She watch me like a police. No, I would never do this. Oh, my girl insecure. Oh, yeah, my girl insecure. Don't take it personally. I's a man who friendly. I would never break the law. Oh, but my girl insecure. Oh, yeah, my girl insecure. She gets on bad, so bad, so bad. I feel like going mad, so mad, so mad. Yeah, she gets on bad, so bad, so bad. I feel like going mad, so mad, so mad. I feel she get possessed. Install a GPS. My girl taking this too far. Wanted she for my wife, but now I'm thinking twice. It's best she go by she father. She watch me like a police. No, I would never do this. Oh, my girl insecure. Oh, yeah.
I need a Jack Group. Good night, Avida Dan Raj. How are you doing? Afra Sankar. Good night, each and every one of you locked on the Shanaz Musical Sensation. We have Mr. Jesh Ramanan in the studio. Select the both on the ones and the twos. Hey, Safra Saeed. Good night to each and every one of you. Good night to Zafra Saeed. Happy New Year's to Samantha, Zara, and each and every one of you. Not forgetting Syra. Good night, each and every one of you from Shanaz Musical Sensation. Bonita, let's go. Did someone said Ricky Jai? We do have a brand new track coming up with Mr. Ricky Jai because that was one of our release for today, Old Year's Party.
Oh, but my girl insecure. Oh, yeah, my girl insecure.
my beautiful mom, Bibi Mohammed. You did miss my call earlier.
Boom. Remember the girl, them a lose themselves. Showstopper, make the girl, them a lose themselves. Delina down, make the girl, them a lose themselves. Lose themselves, lose themselves. Chalao na no se banre. Chalao na no se banre. Jaan le lo na jaan re. Jaan le lo na jaan re.
Move those waistlines, move those waistlines. Raymond Ram the Rhine.
कहीं निकलना चाहिए, कहीं निकलना चाहिए. हमरी बॉडी से प्राण रे. हमरी बॉडी से प्राण रे. चलाओ ना नैनों से बान रे.
Wishing each and every one of you a prosperous 2021. Big things are happening. That's right. Essequibo, Burpees, and Demerara. Radio Guyana, Shanaz Musical Sensation will be live every Saturday. Check it out. Somebody say Suriname.
शामिल न हो, शामिल न हो, शामिल न हो, शामिल न हो. हमरा भूतों में नाम रे. हमरा भूतों में नाम रे.
The beautiful Vimala.
चलाओ ना नैनों से बान रे. चलाओ ना नैनों से बान रे. जान ले लो ना जान रे.
Autumn Kumar.
जान ले लो ना जान रे.
It's an all years party with Shanaz Musical Sensation.
जान रे. Y'all break away. Y'all break away.
War Boss Andy, you can now watch Shanaz Musical Sensation, my television program, every Saturday on Radio Guyana.
आती है मोड़
RGI.
मोड़ी कलाई न मोड़े पिया. मारे गुलाती है मोड़ा जिया. मोड़ी कलाई न मोड़ पिया. मोड़ी कलाई न छोड़ेंगे हम तोरे बिन हम अधूरे हैं राम कसम. कहीं निकलना चाहिए, कहीं निकलना चाहिए, कहीं निकलना चाहिए, कहीं निकलना चाहिए. हमरी बॉडी से, हमरी बॉडी से प्राण रे. हमरी बॉडी से प्राण रे. चलाओ ना नैनों से बान रे. चलाओ ना नैनों से बान रे. जान ले लो ना जान रे. जान ले लो ना जान रे. जान ले
The beautiful Padmini. Veronica Babulo. Shora Mohammed. Avida Dan Raj. The beautiful Indrani Singh from Claremont, Florida. Sherry Singh.
शर्म वानी तेरी बड़ी गर्मा गर्म. जादे शर्म मोहे आए शर्म. शर्म हया की छोड़ो फिकर. जिंदगी छाड़ जिनकी
CESSIT.com 24/7. You'll see my television program and all the radio program right here. Also in Esquimalt, Barbados, and Demerara, homeland Guyana, Shanaz Musical Sensation every Saturday. Mr. Kamal Hamid, Stephen Hardy, yo.
Big bang, pura London tumakda, hote to nach bang, pura London tumakda, hote big bang, pura.
Where is Jaden and Janaya Hardy, yo? Kamal Hamid of Toronto. Anita Ganesh, good night, Indrani Singh. Mr. Jamal Hassan would like to say Happy New Year to Natasha Jaikaran. Happy 2021, prosperous 2021 to each and every one of you. That's right, if you're partying, if you're planning on drinking, get a designated driver or call an Uber. Be safe. Vicky Naran would like to say to his brother Rachel, wishing you a happy and prosperous 2021. You could also let Russia know that you can watch Shanaz Musical Sensation in Crabwood Creek. So Vicky Naran, happy and prosperous 2021 to you and your brother Rachel. Not forgetting Sunita. So New Year's Eve, guys, let's go. Zahir Khan. Good night, each and every one of you locked on the Shanaz Musical Sensation. Vanita, how you're doing? Thank you guys for choosing to join me every Thursdays right here on Shanaz Musical Sensation. CDL, good night to you guys. Remember, you can watch Shanaz Musical Sensation if you're in Guyana every Saturday as well. In New York, Verizon Channel 477 and Spectrum TV Channel 96. Jamal Hassan, let's go. Happy New Year's to your son Tayyib. Pradeep, let's go. Let's rock and roll. Enjoy your Thursday night, All Year's night, I should say.
I hear the people saying that they're missing me. I hear my fans them looking all over the country.
Somebody say Ricky Jai, somebody say Ricky Jai. You know how we do it. We bust something old, then we bring in something brand new of 2021. Padmini, good night. You Savitri, how you doing? Good night, each and every one of you. And yes, Mr. Ricky Jai, good night, each and every one of you. And what is your favorite song of Mr. Ricky Jai, the Jai Master? Hey Pradeep, thank you very much. Good night, each and every one of you. Locked on the Shanaz Musical Sensation. Sheriff, how you doing? Good night to you.
Bubbling up, taking a shot, going to corridor. Our friends and family, keeping it real, keep it seal.
I'm the lover, call me over. Take my number, call me over. Everybody want the bachelor. I'm the lover, call me over. Take my number, call me over. Everybody want the bachelor. I am a bachelor. All the girl them lover.
Gita Dairam, good night, Pradeep. Thank you very much, Sheriff. How are you doing? Good night, each and every one of you. Locked on the Shanaz Musical Sensation. Indrani sing good night, and where is Navin? Navin, yes, he's busy making some pepper pot and some lasagna for dinner. Kavita, good night to you. Mr. Jacob Ramsamy, Happy New Year to each and every one of you. That's right. Thank you to all my wonderful friends and family around the world for watching Shanaz Musical Sensation. Kavita Chachargoon watching us from upstate New York. Good night, each and every one of you. Good night. Let's go.
Whatever stress or problems you have,
Leave it by the door. That's what my favorite song is. Mr. Rohan Singh, how you doing? Good night, you Dada Pitam. This is one of my favorite jam by Mr. Ricky Jai. Let's go.
let me just start. Reflecting till morning come. See when we drink, we run, yeah. You see when I come out to play, I belt in ways, throwing the stress away. Cause I don't want no headache now. This is a special line with a bunch of happy people. So I'm marking time because I'm ready to get some trouble. Yeah, hold on somebody, and just give them the best walk, wine their life. Cause tonight, let me just dance. Reflecting with no worries, just come up on somebody, yeah. Let me just dance.
Rohan Singh from Jacksonville, Florida.
See when we drink, we
Ricky Jai.
say this is carnival, and I'm ready for bacchanal. People call me a fat cause I love to jump to Miss Soca.
Beautiful Samantha Raghunath.
You see when I come out to play, oh gosh, it's not me to blame. The music does make me sweat, walking up and have no shame now. People could say what they say, right now it don't really matter when the bacchanal come out to me. It's because I'm ready to get some trouble, yeah. Hold on somebody, and just give them the best walk, wine their life. Cause tonight, let me just dance. Reflecting with no worries, just come up on somebody, yeah.
That's right, closing off 2020, Louis Fat. Let's forget about all our worries. We're going into a brand new year, brand new start for most of us. Veronica Prasad watching us. Good night to you. And hey, Pamela and Roy, good night to each and every one of you. Locked on the Shanaz Musical Sensation. Veronica Prasad would like to say Happy New Year to Roy and Pamela of Canada. Dada Pitam of the Bronx.
All your worries.
Forget all your worries and all your troubles for tonight. Let's get into 2021 with love, peace, unity, and remember prayers.
So problems you have, leave it by the door. And come inside. Let me just dance. Reflecting with no worries, just come up on somebody, yeah. Let me just dance. Reflecting till morning come. Let's see when we drink, we run, yeah. I say this is carnival, and I'm ready for bacchanal.
Yes, we are ready for Bacchanal, each and every one, every day of our life. We are ready for Bacchanal. We are stronger than you know. Jamal Hassan, good night to you and your beautiful wife, Sherry. Working our way to the brand new remix of
When a baby born, we call we
Ricky Jai.
When a baby born, we call we friends and family. Hey, we have it already. Come everybody, come and dance with me.
Sharda, sing the famous John from Queens.
We have it already.
Benita, good night.
Open the bottle and let we start the party. Hey, when a baby born, we call we friends and family. When a baby
how you doing? Mr. Harry Sujdev, good night, each and every one of you locked on to Shanaz Musical Sensation. Mr. Jamal Hassan, good night to you. Thank you guys very much. Good night to Benita, Sono, how you doing? Sono Juno. Good night to Mr. Jess, she's in the studio. Anish, good night to you.
Hurry, 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 go and call on the poor. Hold I and bowl and light up the fire. Hurry, hurry, hurry and call on the poor. Send the shaman to bring some fire.
The beautiful Reshma Danny Ram, good night to you. Shami Anthony.
Fire one for the man. Fire.
Musto Hiralo.
Come fire one with weed. We having Barahi.
We're not having Barahi, we're having an all year's night party.
Come on,
The beautiful Anita Ganesh.
I say you know we having Barahi. Open the bottle and there we start the party. Hey. When a baby born they calling Ravi and Ricky. When a baby born they calling Ravi and Ricky. To sing in Barahi. On the green morning, come on and
Well, it's my beautiful friend JD on the line. Good night to you. Wishing you a prosperous 2021. Gayatri Chadagun, good night to you.
we start the party.
The beautiful Sharda Singh from Canada, good night to you. Gayatri, how are you doing?
Start the celebration, start the jam session. Call up Rasika and Rakesh.
Shankar Sigavin, good night, good night. Reshma Dani Ram, thank you for asking. I'm doing fine. Happy all years to each and every one of you. If you're celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you from Shanaz Musical Sensation. Gayatri, thank you very much. Love is in the air, and that's all my love to each and every one of you. Did somebody say Ricky Jai? Well, you know we're working our way down to Ricky Jai. Brand new 2021 track. So let's go from Shanaz Musical Sensation. Do enjoy.
I hear the people saying that they're missing me. I hear my fans them looking all over the country. But if you want to find me, I in New York City, in my backyard doing headshots with my friends and family. Friends and family, friends and family, friends and family, and yeah, we come friends and family, friends and family, friends and family, friends and family. So don't worry about me, bubbling up, taking a shot, on some corridor. Are we friends and family, keeping it real, cracking a seal, Tito's Hennessy. Are we friends and family? I went to New York. I hear the people saying
Taking it from the TOP for each and every one of you. Mutiram Das, good night to you. By Mr. Ricky Jai.
I hear me fans them looking all over the country. But if you want to find me, I in New York City, in my backyard doing headshots with my friends and family. Friends and family, friends and family, friends and family, and yeah, we come friends and family, friends and family, friends and family, friends and family. So don't worry about me, bubbling up, taking a shot, on some corridor. Are we friends and family, keeping it real, cracking a seal, Tito's Hennessy. Are we friends and family? I went to New York on tour, my music to play, but the whole get locked down and I had to stay. I went to New York on tour, my music to play, but the whole get locked down and I had to stay. Now everybody asking, they asking for me. They looking in every country.
2021 with Mr. Ricky Joy.
Bubbling up, taking a shot, going to corridor. Our friends and family, keeping it real, cracking a seal, Tito's Tennessee. Our friends and family, who we here with, who we here with, family, having a time with friends and family, like me with friends, chilling with family in the backyard with friends and family. Now you may be feeling lonely, you may be feeling sad, missing life in Guyana, life in Trinidad. Sometimes there'll be problems that will knock you down, but you have to get up, don't stay on the ground. You may feel desperate and you may feel lonely, you may feel like you alone and don't have nobody. Just count all your blessings, don't focus on worries. If you
Happy birthday to Roshan Ram Narayan. Happy 18th birthday greetings going out to Roshan Ram Narayan.
friends and family, friends and family, are here with me, friends and family, friends and family, friends and family, friends and family. So don't worry about me, bubbling up, taking a shot, going to corridor. Are with friends and family.
We're taking a drink with friends and family around the world. Jacob Ramsey, good night to you. Happy birthday to Mr. Roshan Ram Narayan. What are we drinking? What are we having? Well, we're having lasagna for dinner, some pepper pot, some bread from Big Well Bakery and Halal Restaurant, and some lobster fried rice. That's my specialty. So happy birthday to Mr. Raffo, also sharing the same birthday as Roshan Ram Narayan. Raffo, happy birthday to you from your handsome son, Select the Bolt, the beautiful Varshni Kendranat and Edith.
Show me yours, I show you mine. Everything we go combine. When we mix it up together, pan it left, pan it right, pan it up and pan it high. To the lawa in the sky. When we mix it up together.
Lawa milan ke paro se gale gaile, paro se gale gaile, paro se gale gaile ho. Sab auratiyan sindur lagaye.
Mr. Saif Ivan, happy New Year's to you. Prosperous 2021. Good night, each and every one of you. Good news, guys. You can now watch Shanaz Musical Sensation all the way in Guyana. Somebody say Ethnic River, Burbies, and Demerara.
You're whining in a circle and jamming on me, baby. You're pushing it up further and wind up on me. And you woke up in a circle and work up on me, baby. Keep working, Mr. Worker. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. मेरे पतली कमर लंबे बाल रे, मेरे पतली कमर लंबे.
We're in the studio with Shanaz Musical Sensation. Happy birthday to Roshan Ram Narayan from Uncle Stephen Hardial of Toronto. Happy birthday to you.
मेरे बिंदिया लगाई सी चाल रे, ओ मेरे बिंदिया लगाई सी चाल रे. सावरिया में आरी रहो के चली जाओ रे, सावरिया में आरी रहो के चली जाओ रे. Hold on, bring the beat back. Hold on, shake your bum back. Push it back, wind back, push it back. Push it back, wind back, push it back. अखियाँ हमारी गजरे की डलियाँ, दियाले की धूरियाँ.
That was a special birthday greetings coming all the way from Guyana to Mr. Roshan. Happy birthday from your handsome grandpa, Mr. Nazim.
अखियाँ हमारी गजरे की डलियाँ.
And my handsome dad, Nizam Hussain. Happy birthday to you, Roshan.
सारी नगरिया में, सारी नगरिया में, तू मेरे बिना लाली के हो तो मेरा लाल रे, ओ बिना लाली के हो तो मेरा लाल रे. सावरिया में आरी रहो के चली जाओ रे, सावरिया में आरी रहो के चली जाओ रे. मेरे पतली कमर
Love is in the air and love is always in the air when you're locked on to Shanaz Musical Sensation. Sending my love to each and every one of you. Wishing you a prosperous 2021.
जाओ
yes, your brother Saif Ivan as well. I remember a few years back we were in Guyana celebrating your birthday, celebrating all years in Guyana. So happy birthday to you, Tarek. Steve Hemorrhage, Marianne Lou,
And you woke up in your circle and work up on me.
I really want to show ya how much I love you.
Bibi Leslie Mongol, good night, Avida Dan Rod. Somebody say Essequibo Barbies and Demerara. You can now see Shanaz Musical Sensation there every Saturday, 4 p.m.
चल हमारे घर में चलो ना सूरजी I really want to see girl that how much you love me चल हमारे घर
And yes, you can see I love you, each and every one of you.
I really want to see girl that how much you love me
Come boy, come hug me, come closer now, Ricky. I really want to show ya just how much I love you. Come boy and hug me, come closer now, Ricky. I really want to show ya just how much I love you.
Hold on to my arms girl and make love to me This is what I happen to be saying to she
Now I cannot lie, boy, I real happy. You take me to the point of ecstasy.
Tell me that you love me I really want to know Let me hold you tight girl and make love pursue चल हमारे घर में चलो ना सूरजी I really want to see girl that how much you love me चल हमारे घर में चलो ना सूरजी I really want to see girl that how much you love me how much you love me how much you love me how much you love
Here
me
we go. I go show you true love, 'cause I love the walk you put down and the sweetness give me a fever, boy. I go keep you around. Boy, the things you do to my body, never thought I would ever love. That's what the get me crazy, love my mind, I think it's my cloud.
Raji, my darling, listen what I have to say. I want you to make love with me every day.
Yes, boy, I'm waiting. There is nothing left to say. I'm under the covers, boy. You can have your way.
I don't want to silver, I don't want to gold.
Maureen Emran, good night, good night.
You girl, your whole body and soul. चल हमारे घर में चलो ना सूरजी. I really want to see girl that how much you love me. चल हमारे घर में
Avida Dan Raj, good night, Bibi Leslie Mongol.
want to see girl that how much you love
Yes,
me.
Ricky, my darling, let me say this to you. You are the only one, and that is the truth. So never worry that I leave you alone, 'cause the loving that you give me make me want to stay home.
Remember the Suraji, remember it in mind. A lover that is faithful is very hard to find.
And I know this baby, you're sweeter than wine. I'll keep in you, honey, until the end of time.
When finding one so loving, faithful and true, never leave an old for a new.
Come boy, come hug me, come closer now, Ricky. I really want to show you just how much I love you. Come boy and hug me, come closer now, Ricky. I really want to show you just how much I love you. How much I love you.
How much I love each and every one of you. Thank you, Mr. Steve Hemorrhage. I love you too.
I'm gonna show you true love, 'cause I love the walk you put down and the sweetness give me a fever, boy. I go keep you around. Boy, the things you do to my body, never thought I would ever love. That's what the send me crazy, number 9, I think it's my cloud.
Hey, Harry boy, you promised to marry me, but behind my back you're running down through party. Hey, Harry boy, you promised to marry me, but behind my back you're running down through party. You're lying and you're fooling and your mama going me. You're lying and you're fooling and your mama going me. Well, let me tell you, planty boy, me ain't taking that. Hey, Harry boy, you promised to marry me, but behind my back you're running down through party.
Moti Ramdas, good night, A special good night is going out to your beautiful mom, Silver. So Jamal Hassan, good night to you and your beautiful wife, Sherry. Dear Raj Mahez, good night to you. Happy New Year. Biram, Jairam, how you doing? Good night to each and every one of you. And yes, wishing you and yours a prosperous 2021.
A woman with integrity. You think me more properly and not stupidity, but I am a woman with integrity. Morning, noon, and night, you all over the town, and as when we talk about boy, you only running down. Hey, I'm sorry, boy, look, you promised to marry me, but you I never keep running down property.
Yo, Amit, that's a flying Pokemon. A satellite. No, that is Superman. यूपी वाला ठुमका लगाओ, यूपी वाला ठुमका लगाओ, के हीरो जैसे नाच के दिखाओ, यूपी वाला ठुमका लगाओ, के हीरो जैसे नाच के दिखाओ, ओ नाच के दिखाओ गोरी, नाच के दिखाओ, नाच के दिखाओ गोरी, नाच के दिखाओ, संगे संगे तुझे भी नचाओगे, हीरो जैसे नाच के दिखाओ, संगे संगे तुझे भी नचाओगे, हीरो जैसे नाच के दिखाओ, यूपी वाला ठुमका लगाओ, के हीरो जैसे नाच के दिखाओ. It's a festival, so hand in the air, everybody hand in the air, like a superhero up in the air, hand in the air, fly in the air, hey, 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 hello. बड़े दिनों बाद मिले ऐसे खुशहाली, बड़े दिनों बाद मिले ऐसे खुशहाली, होने लगी देखो मेरी चाल मत वाली, होने लगे देखो मेरी चाल मत वाली. एमपी वाला लटका बताओ, के हीरो जैसे नाच के दिखाओ, एमपी वाला लटका बताओ, के हीरो जैसे नाच के दिखाओ, ओ नाच के दिखाओ गोरी, नाच के दिखाओ, नाच के दिखाओ गोरी, नाच के दिखाओ, संगे संगे तुझे भी नचाओगे, हीरो जैसे नाच के दिखाओ, संगे संगे तुझे भी नचाओगे, हीरो जैसे नाच के.
Happy birthday to Ava from your Uncle Kenneth. Good night, Roy Isaac. How you doing? Good night to Mr. Sheriff. Auntie Nalini Naidu, you are late.
Hand in the air, everybody hand in the air, like a superhero up in the air, hand in the air, fly in the air, hey, 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 hello. ऐसे चुप चुप के मिलाए क्यों नजरिया, ऐसे चुप चुप के मिलाए क्यों नजरिया, जैसे भनेरा में कहीं चमके बिजुलिया, जैसे भनेरा में कहीं चमके बिजुलिया. मुंबई वाला झटका सिखाओ, के हीरो जैसे नाच के दिखाओ, मुंबई वाला झटका सिखाओ, के हीरो जैसे नाच के दिखाओ, ओ नाच के दिखाओ गोरी, नाच के दिखाओ, नाच के दिखाओ गोरी,
से प्यार राधा कन्हैया कन्हैया, करते हैं तुमसे प्यार राधा कन्हैया.
Launching pretty soon on 247accessit.com, a website you can listen to music to 24/7 and watch my program, Shanaz Musical Sensation.
कन्हैया कन्हैया,
The beautiful Sylvina Charles, good night to you. Happy New Year.
राधा कन्हैया.
Anita Ganesh, Shanti Singh.
वृंदावन का मुरली वाला सब कहते हैं
we do, we have a brand new release coming up.
बार बार तू न मुरली बजाना, अब तुम ही हो मेरा ठिकाना, घायल जियरा हमार ओ नटखट और कन्हैया, करते हैं तुमसे प्यार राधा कन्हैया, बंसी सजे के कहाँ छुपैया, बंसी सजे के कहाँ छुपैया, करते हैं तुमसे प्यार राधा कन्हैया कन्हैया, करते हैं तुमसे प्यार राधा कन्हैया, ओरे कन्हैया कन्हैया, ओरे कन्हैया कन्हैया, ओरे कन्हैया.
Love is in the air and love is always in the air. Roshan, good night, happy birthday to you. And Navin, our cook tonight. What's rocking, what's rolling? Oh my dad, good night to you. And good night to each and every one of you locked on to Shanaz Musical Sensation. Well guys, brand new release by Mr. Nigel Salikram out of Trinidad and Tobago. And yes, he's a wonderful artist indeed. Hey Sylvina Charles, good night to you. So let's take the one from the TOP. Chantal Bisoon and Priya, good night to you both from Sylvina Charles. We will go with Nigel Salikram. Let's go.
Hey, Mr. Nigel. Make girl only harassing me like she want to send me crazy. Everything she say that I do, I want you to know that it's not true. Honey, it's the rum we do, the rum we do, the rum we do, baby. Oh, it's the rum we do, the rum we do, the rum we do, not me. It's the rum we do, the rum we do, the rum we do, not me, not me. Hey, Nigel Salikram, Maha Production. Hey, Michelle. When I go to line by Diva, she hear a tackling Sandra. Then they say I was with Cherry, and she gets me whining on Susie. Honey, it's the rum we do, the rum we do, the rum we do, baby. Oh, it's the rum we do.
Indira Hamid, good night to you, each and every one of you in Orlando, Florida, coming from Steve Hemrod.
Not me, it's the rum we do, the rum we do, the rum we do, not me, not me. She say I don't like she mother, and not tackling she sister. Then I say
Handsome Stephen Hardy, yo.
and I coach a big big shoot.
WREA's in Guyana. Big up to Mr. Nazim Hussain,
The rum
a legendary broadcaster in Guyana.
is the rum we do, the rum we do, the rum we do, not me. It's the rum we do, the rum we do, the rum we do, not me.
Let's rock and roll. Enjoy your All Year's Eve with your family and your friends. Breaking out to 2021 with a lot of love and positivity. And yes, spread some love to each and every one of your family and friends around the globe because they might need it. Remember, positivity and prayers do move mountain. Prayers do move mountains. So let's rock and roll. Happy and prosperous 2021 to each and every one of you. And let's go with Mr. Apache, brand new track. I told you I'll have to play this one from the TOP. Old is gold. Let's go.
Saga Malik, straight out of Pakistan. Apache warrior, the Guyanese done. Saga.
मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में एक चांद का टुकड़ा रहता है मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में एक चांद का टुकड़ा
white rum. Take you to this island, man, and the sun. But to be the true, cause I love you, girl. Don't ever change, you will change my world. Turn me away.
Sagar Malik and Apache Warrior.
Be with you is very bad. I gaze in the sky and pray for your love. Just like the cloud, way up above. Time you one ear, my ass keep a beat. Looking at you, you sweet me up my feet. I feel like the tea, we're drinking in the morning. You sweet like the sugar, me sweet sugar dumpling. So give me pretty girl, what you be my darling? What you feel me lover and put on the ring.
जिस रोज से देखा है उसको हम क्षमा जलाना भूल गए जिस रोज से देखा है उसको
Mr. Jacob Ramsamy, good night, good night.
भूल गए दिल थाम के ऐसे बैठे
Biram Jaram, good evening to you.
ना जाना भूल गए अब आठ पहर इन आँखों में वो जल मुखरा रहता
Biram Jaram, good night to you. And yes, your handsome brother Tony Bagru in Long Beach. I wonder if my uncle Tony Bagru.
रहता
Where's my beautiful aunt Zalina Bagru?
So you may ask if a bit. The pretty lips you got and your dressing on me. I want you in my arms and call you my own. That's today, today where you must take you home. My heart is burning night and day. So open up your heart and show me the way. Cause of you, you is the one. I love you baby cause you is my temptation. Cause of you is the one. I love you baby cause you is my temptation. I don't have a million in my bank. I'm going to give you loving and enough affection. Yeah, tell you the truth, me love you.
Vikash Verma, good night, good night. Rose Hari Narayan, how you doing? Auntie Nalini Naidu, good night to each and every one of you. Rock and roll, an all year's night with Shanaz musical sensation. My handsome friend Mr. Omar the Greatness, wishing you a prosperous 2021 indeed.
बादल भी गरज कर बरस गए हर साथ भी
Corvina Devi, good night to you.
गई बादल भी गरज कर बरस गए हर उसकी एक झलक को हम हुस्न के मालिक तरस गए कब प्यास बुझी इन आँखों की दिन रात ये दुखड़ा रहता मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में चांद का टुकड़ा रहता है मेरे सामने वाली
Famous John from Queens, good night to you. Mr. Horace Sankar, how you doing?
चांद का टुकड़ा रहता है मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में
Alex Sai, good night to you. Pravina Devi, Rajdale.
मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में एक चांद का टुकड़ा रहता है
Beautiful track indeed by Mr. Sagar Malik and Apache Warrior.
All of the speakers, yeah, in the kingdom. Hey, and when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me.
Rajdale, good night to you guys. Taking it from the TOP, Mr. Vikar Sahadeo, brand new, fresh off the press 2021.
You think we going on ahead? No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we going on ahead, no, we didn't only break up to make up. People saying that I'm mad and I hurt my head. People saying that he mad and he hurt me head. I should have married the neighbor daughter instead. Should have married the neighbor daughter instead.
Shano Juna, good night, good night.
Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we going on ahead, no, we didn't only break up to.
Ryan Hasraj, good night to you.
And when you see me, I don't.
Prashad, good night, good night.
She always finding a reason to leave me.
Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we going on end, no, we didn't only break up to make up. She don't believe me that I have nothing to hide. She don't believe me that we have nothing to hide. I should have really have girl on the outside. You should have really have girl on the outside. Let me tell you, wait, let me tell you. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we just only break up to make up.
Done by Mr. Vikas Sahadeo.
We going on end. No, we just only break up to make up. And when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we didn't only break up to make up. And when you think we going on end, no, we didn't only break up to make up.
Sending all my love to each and every one of you.
Oh, Lord, it's big cash, yeah, in the kingdom. Hey, and when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we just only break up to make up. And when you think we going on end, no, we just only break up to make up. And when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always finding a reason to leave me. Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we just only break up to make up. And when you think we going on end, no, we just only break up to make up.
Danny Hensraj, good night to you. Sano Juno. Guys, we have Mr. Jesh Ramanan in the studio, so he'll present to you and sing for you a beautiful track tonight on Shanaz Musical Sensation. Before we pull the curtains down, I want to wish each and every one of you a prosperous 2021.
I should have married the neighbor daughter instead.
I do hope the neighbor daughter is very beautiful and talented, not forgetting a really good heart.
Tell you about my girlfriend.
Beauty lies inside, not external.
And when you think we going on end, no, we just only break up to make up. And when you see me, I don't do nothing. She always.
Mr. Jerry Woodram, good night to you, and Nalini Naidu.
Let me tell you about my girlfriend. No, we just only break up to make up. And when you think we going on end, no, we just only break up to make up.
Say you love me, say you want me, you want to
Done by Mr. Jesh Ramanan.
have money. Say
Coming up live next.
you want me, not ready boy, boy you not ready.
सजनिया करता हूँ मैं तुमसे प्यार सजनिया करता हूँ मैं तुमसे प्यार करता हूँ
One of my favorite tracks done by Mr. Jesh Ramanan. Check him out on YouTube.
तुमसे प्यार 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 सजनिया करता हूँ मैं तुमसे प्यार सजनिया करता हूँ मैं तुमसे प्यार
No man could ever rule me, no man could ever fool me. What about the other lucky I have from my mommy?
Wish my girl I have money so baby girl I want you to be with me होठों पे मेरे नाम तेरा सिर्फ होठों पे मेरे
Let me see you, let me see you, let me see you wine, wine.
होठों पे मेरे नाम तेरा सिर्फ होठों पे मेरे
Rich man, girl, I have money. So baby girl, I want you to be with me. मनवा उदास है तेरे बिन सजनी मनवा उदास है मनवा उदास है तेरे बिन सजनी मनवा उदास है तेरे बिन सजनी मनवा उदास है तेरे बिन सजनी प्यारी सी जल्दी सिया सजनिया करता हूँ मैं तुमसे प्यार सजनिया करता हूँ मैं तुमसे प्यार करता हूँ मैं तुमसे प्यार सजनिया करता हूँ मैं तुमसे प्यार 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 सजनिया
Mr. Horace Sankar, I'd like to wish you a happy birthday tomorrow. Do enjoy it.
तुमसे प्यार
Yes, guys, with all the distraction happening in the studio, I have some beautiful masks designed by yours truly, Shanaz Musical Sensation. Free giveaways, so all the friends who are sharing my link, sharing my love, I appreciate each and every one of you. I have 10 masks, and if I go on Facebook and I see you guys sharing the link, you are getting a mask. And yes, I could deliver it to your home personally, or you could pick it up at Big Well Bakery and Halal Restaurant, 107th Street and Liberty Avenue. So I hope you enjoyed that track by Mr. Jesh Ramanan. Without further ado, guys, share the link, share the love. Lashman Maniram, good night to you. How you doing? Mr. Horace Sankar, I hope you have a nice drink from me. And yes, what a beautiful way to start the new year on your birthday. Beautiful indeed. Auntie Nalini Naidu, good night to you. Share the link, share the love. Ram Harilal, how you doing? Sylvina Charles, good night to you. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Put your hands together for Mr. Jesh Ramanan in the studio, guys. Make some noise.
1, 2. Saying happy old yesterday, everybody. This one is going out to Shanaz, Bolt, Facebook crew, my fans, my supporters, my family, everybody is locked on. So, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. Testing for sound. Alright, so let's get ready to party. One, two, yeah. Making sure it adjusts. Good. Something hamad, mere something hamad. Something hamad, mere something hamad. Mere something, mere something, mere something hamad. Mera dil hai tumhara. Oh, mere something hamad. Mera dil hai tumhara. Something hamad, mere something hamad. Something hamad, mere something hamad. Mere something hamad. Mera dil hai tumhara. Oh, mere something hamad. Mera something, mera pyara. Hey! So this is our old Chinese song. So we're gonna have some fun before 2021, right? Something na jaane, hum na jaane. Something na jaane, hum na jaane. Something na jaane, hum na jaane. जाने हमार समझी मेरा प्यार सबको जाने हमार समझी मेरा प्यार मेरे समदिन ओ मेरे समदिन हमार मेरा दिल है तुम्हारा ओ मेरे समदिन हमार मेरा समझी मेरा प्यारा समदिन हमार मेरे समदिन हमार समदिन हमार मेरे समदिन हमार मेरे समदिन हमार मेरा दिल है तुम्हारा something hamad mera something mera pyara hey mere बीबी मुझसे पूछा मेरे something और something का रिश्ता मेरे बीबी मुझसे पूछा सब कुछ लुटा समझी मेरा प्यार मेरे सब कुछ लुटा समझी मेरा प्यार मेरे समदिन ओ मेरे समदिन हमार मेरा दिल है तुम्हारा ओ मेरे समदिन हमार मेरा समदिन मेरा प्यारा समदिन हमार मेरे समदिन हमार समदिन हमार मेरे समदिन हमार मेरे समदिन हमार ready to wine? मेरे बीबी कितने गुस्सा मेरे पीछा ना छोड़ा मेरे बीबी कितने गुस्सा सब कुछ लुटा समझी मेरा प्यार मेरे उसका जवा समझी मेरा प्यार मेरे समदिन ओ मेरे समदिन हमार मेरा दिल है तुम्हारा ओ मेरे समदिन हमार मेरा समदिन मेरा प्यारा समदिन हमार मेरे समदिन हमार समदिन हमार मेरे समदिन हमार मेरे समदिन हमार मेरा दिल है तुम्हारा ओ मेरे समदिन हमार मेरा समदिन मेरा प्यारा ओ मेरे समदिन हमार मेरा समदिन मेरा प्यारा ओ मेरे समदिन हमार Thank you. I want to say happy new year everyone, right? From the SMS, yours truly and DJ Boot. We out.
That's it, guys. What a beautiful way to end 2020. That's right. Starting 2021 with lots of new things coming your way. Remember, Instagram with Barbies and Demerara. You can now see Shanaz Musical Sensation every Saturday, 4 p.m. That's right. Mr. Farouk Montal, I see how you're doing. Good night to you and your handsome brother, Mr. Hore Sankar, Auntie Nalini Naidu. That was the voice of Mr. Jesh Ramanan, a wonderful sound engineer, I should say. And yes, you can check him out on YouTube. He's also a wonderful friend and editor of Shanaz Musical Sensation. So check him out on YouTube. Let's go.
Girls that wanna fun up, get Tony Montana. AI, top down, remix.
Last year I went on tour, but I didn't want to stay, so I leave my band to play. When I come back, my wife run away. Yeah, when I come back, the girl run away. Last year I went on tour, but I didn't want to stay, so I leave my band to play. When I come back, my wife run away. Yeah, when I come back, the girl run away.
Well, someone is having pepper pot for dinner, and what's the main ingredient in the pepper pot? It's the pepper, of course.
Time for me to get on back. Cannibal is plenty.
Not forgetting the brown sugar and the jeera.
No matter the girl complexion.
And lots of time.
You know I had a plan to have plenty woman. Hey, then something happened to me. From 100 to 1, then I end up with none. Hey, what really happened to me? Now every night I sleep in my myself.
Obati Culture, good night to you.
If I could find someone else. Last year I went on tour, but I didn't want to stay, so I leave my band to play. When I come back, my wife run away. Yeah.
Always remember to take your wife with you. Don't leave them alone.
I'm a play myself.
Especially when Select the Bolt and Jesh is around. Right, I thought around.
We don't need no wife again. No stress to life again. Plenty girl on my mind again. Love in the morning.
I give she everything, expensive wedding ring. Hey, but she leave nothing for me. Not even a
Shake those waistlines, girls. Let's go. Apache Warrior. Somebody say Lote Lal. I say Gote. Some dal is dal and rice and bunjal duck. That's right, Mr. Warrior. Take your husband too. Don't leave them alone at home. Because you never know, the neighbors could be watching. to you. Happy 18th birthday greetings are going out to Roshan Ramnarayan.
आजा बालम सांवरे दीवाना दीवाना ये दिल तेरा दीवाना 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 मेरा दिल तेरा दीवाना दीवानी होके मैं झूमूं साजन की रे आई रे मिलन रुत सावन की रे आई रे मिलन रुत आजा बालम सांवरे
The beautiful Liz Paduman. Jerry Budram, season greetings are going out to Bull, Dole, and Tari.
कुहुके कुहुके कोयलिया सावन की रे चमके बिजुरिया सावन की रे चमके बिजुरिया नैना ढलके बावरे मुझको लगन मेरे साजन की रे आई रे याद मुझे साजन की रे आई रे मिलन रुत आजा बालम सांवरे दीवाना दीवाना ये दिल तेरा दीवाना 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 ये दिल तेरा दीवाना दीवानी होके मैं झूमूं साजन की रे आई रे मिलन रुत सावन की रे आई रे मिलन रुत आजा बालम सांवरे
Annie Prasad, Veronica Jaglal, Radha Totaram, Varshni Kendernath, Roma, good night to you. Hernandez, Nirvani Ram Prasad. What is the famous John from Queens? Savita Chawari, good night to you. Well, Mr. Joe Thomas, good night, good night. Avinash Lar, Island Ram. Tony Sabero. Thank you very much, Mr. Jerry Budram. Chris Somesh. Lydia Lee, Afra Sankar.
फिर क्या डरी क्या अम्मा एक बस तू ही प्यार के काबिल सारा जहां है निकम्मा
तू प्रेमी मैं प्रेमी
Gino Ali.
मैं राजी
Haris Sujdev, good night to you. Mr. Kamal Hamid, good night. Radha Totaram, Jerry Budram, thank you guys for joining us on Shanaz Musical Sensation. It's time to pull the curtains down for tonight, but hey, join me next Thursday. You never know what we'll have or who we'll have in the studio. Big up to each and every one of you and wish you a prosperous 2021 as we end this year, 2020, on a really good note. Remember to love yourself before you love anyone else. And yes, if you love yourself and appreciate the world, everything else will look better in your eyes. Chandra Pritam, good night to you. Until next time, guys, love yourself, love everyone around you, and yes, if you share my show, you will be getting a free mask from Shanaz Musical Sensation. Auntie Nalini Naidu, good night to you. Thank you to Select the Bolt and Mr. Jesh Ramanan in the studio. Radha Totaram and all you wonderful folks for sharing our live Thank you guys for being in my company. Thank you very much, Mr. Apache Warrior, for being a wonderful friend that you are. And prosperous 2021 to you and the beautiful Veronica Jaglal. Rummy sir, happy and prosperous 2021 to each and every one of you. Until next time, take care, God bless, and all the best to you and yours. Thank you very much, Mr. Horace Sankar. Guys, follow me on Facebook, Shanaz Hussain, my musical page, Shanaz Musical Sensation. And yes, on Instagram, Shanaz Musical Sensation _SMS. Tell all your friends and your family in Guyana, Shanaz Musical Sensation will be airing every Saturday, 4 p.m. Good night.